Hey, this is Ivan, your TLC driver, Uber driver, Via driver, Lyft driver, rideshare driver, and today's video will be a very interesting topic. How the world in this industry really operates. So, the topic of today's video is a ticket. What do you do with these tickets that you receive from the police officers and other various agencies, of one of which it is this one, the New York City TLC Commission. So now this only applies to New York City. It's different than any other city in US and probably in the world. So in New York, if you drive Uber, Lyft, and this and that, all these rideshare companies, there is one rule that the TLC driver should know, and this is the rule about you cannot drive more than 10 hours per day. That's it. So basically, in the 24 hours a day, you only have 10 hours to make money. So now the question is come like this: if you are paying car to rent $500 a week, if you are paying a gasoline $15 to $20 to $30 depending on the vehicle, if you have to pay taxes on your income, if you are spending maintenance and all this stuff, just the things I named, you pay gasoline, you pay rent, you pay taxes, you are supposed to pay all these things, but there is a limitation of how much hours you can work. Now, the whole idea about this TLC that is posing this regulation is because of the safety of the customers. So now, basically, you are limited to 10 hours, but what the rideshare companies will tell you is this: you are your own boss. You decide when to work and which hours of the day you can work. You can work night shift, you can work day shift. Basically, you're a boss in your business, according to Uber, but your business can only operate for 10 hours a day. Now, tell me this. I've been in business for 27 years, and I had a lot of successes and a lot of failures, and I run companies, and I had to pay people. About 20 people was in my payroll, or 50 people within my company, and 50 people on a payroll, and a bunch of other small businesses that I had to run, like cafeteria, juice bar, clothing company, production company, whatever, photography company. I was doing all these businesses, and I was working 16 hours a day, 17 hours per day, 10 hours per day. Because when you are in your own business, you gotta work as much as possible to make the profit or the revenue so you can pay all these people that are under you. Now, when you're an Uber driver, you don't have to pay other people, but basically what it says, you have a business opportunity, from one side presented to you by all these rideshare companies, so do whatever you want to do, that would say, but at the same time, you have the government tells you, being your own business in your own car and providing transportation services, there is a safety of the customer, so you cannot work more than 10 hours. That's it. Now, how this happened? When I was working for Uber, this was about December 20th or something, December 20th, in 2018, at one point Uber closed my account and they said that I did not sleep enough. That's what literally the customer support of Uber told me, that I did not sleep enough. What I did was simply, I worked till 4 in the morning, and I went home and and I slept for 6-7 hours, and then I took my car back and I went to work. But Uber shut down my account because not only you can not only work more than 10 hours, but you also have to take a minimum 8 hours of break. Now these two rules by itself will cut your money. So in other words, you're your own boss, but you have zero power because you are regulated by Uber and by the TLC. Now, how this works in other cities? Well, the question here is why this works only in New York City and it's not applicable for other cities. If you are in Chicago, you probably can work 12 hours or sleep 3 hours. Of course, this will be a danger for your clients, but you're very well aware of that. For example, if you drive 7 or 8 or 10 hours, common sense will tell you after 10 hours driving you're gonna feel tired. So as a human being, you would be thinking, hey, wait a minute, I'm falling asleep on the car, I might as well go home and get some rest, and then I go to make money the other day. But in New York you don't have this option because there is an overruling TLC commission that is supposedly working for your benefits. So now, why is the basic question here is why this is applicable for New York City? Is it the driver in Chicago, as some superhero, can work 12 hours and the New York driver can only work 10 hours? That issue should be addressed to the TLC commission, because now for the same day, this is experience, I'm just sharing my experience here. Don't take this video as like suggestion, I'm just sharing my experience about this thing. So in one day, at the night of that day that occurred, I have two tickets by the TLC and Limo Commission, and each one of these guys, it's costing me $150. So now I have to go to defend myself and explain myself that what happened, we don't know. And these guys, they actually have a statistics. I can see a breakdown like 2 pages, or actually it's a 1 page. I just received this letter and I'm immediately making this video. So here we have a page. So now I have to go to defend myself. I have to defend myself that I'm working as a driver, but I work too much. Isn't that some kind of a messed up situation? And the main question is, why is this applicable for New York drivers only? Why this is not a worldwide rule? Uber actually, when my account was shut down, they could not explain it to me why it was shut down. So I spoke with one person. I lost 1 hour and 10 minutes going in circle, and the person could not tell me why the account was shut down. And one thing you do in this case, I called them back and I immediately changed the strategy. So as soon as another person, tech support, or not tech support but Uber support, picked up the phone, of course after 25 minutes wait time, I told him that I don't want to talk to him and actually want to talk to his manager. And then I did the same thing when I had to talk to the manager, and I surpassed this manager. I went to his manager. So finally he explained to me that the reason they shut down my account was not actually working too much time, but not sleeping enough. Because between my start point, my ending point though, at night, and the next day point of beginning, I only had 6 hours of sleep, and that was supposed to be 8 hours of sleep. So now all these rules, these two rules by itself, they are only applicable to New York drivers. They are not applicable to anywhere. So the guy was very perplexed. The manager who knew how this works, he explained to me simply, well, In our Uber system, there is something like this, and for each city, this is different. So here I'm posing this important question. Why is this different for different cities? Based on what? Now I have to go to court to defend myself that I'm working. I actually have to defend my job now that I'm a working person to pay the expenses of the vehicle, the rent, the gasoline, the taxes and all this stuff, and I can only work 10 hours and I have to sleep 8 hours. Like, this sounds to me like the real matrix. You know what the real matrix is? Them guys like me and like you, if you are an Uber driver, you are limited in your own business. But not the guys in Europe, not the guys in Beirut, not the guys anywhere that Uber has affiliates. So now, also I want to point this here, another interesting thing, because I work with Via too. Currently I switch from Uber to Via, and the law for Uber and Lyft is one, but for Via is completely different. So now it's even bigger question. How Via is above the law? I will tell you the law when it comes to the airports. In Uber system and in Lyft system, when you go and leave somebody in the airport, you can actually have to go to a certain area, otherwise they will not give you a customer. This is how their system works. You go to a special lot, a parking lot for Uber drivers, and there are these people there. You see, like here in New York City in JFK, it's about 200 people minimum per hour. They are waiting there, somebody to give them a ride. And what the ride is, it's a $40 or $50. If you got lucky, it's $50. Sometimes you don't get lucky, you get $15 ride. From the airport to some neighborhood close to the airport, you got $15 ride. So you was waiting 3 hours, sitting there doing nothing. But now the company Via comes in, and yesterday I went and I left somebody in the airport, and the company Via immediately gives me the customer. Now, Uber cannot do that. Uber, it's $95 billion company, cannot do that, but Via, which is a company that most of the people never heard of, can do that. And that is against the law of New York City. So now, let's do that. Me and my body, Uber and Lyft, they cannot fight the law of New York City, but the company Via can actually don't even pay attention to the law, because their system, these guys are so intelligent that they go around the laws of not only New York City, but by guarantee pay of $40 an hour, they go above the law of the United States of America, the federal law. How they do it? That's a good question to know. How they do that? First of all, the law of US constitutes as simply as that. If somebody guarantee you something that you have to show up on some area to make certain amount of money, you are automatically considered employee of that company. But hey, don't forget that we are our own bosses in the eyes of Uber and in the eyes of Via. But the law constitutes, if you go to a certain area and somebody tells you from this time to that time I'm gonna pay you this much money, if they actually, it's not even about the amounts of money, but it's about the time. If somebody has the power over you to tell you that from this time going forward I'm gonna pay you X amount of dollars, you are automatically considered employee of the company. And that comes from a lawyer that deals with this stuff, you know. You can check the guy, he's in YouTube somewhere giving lectures on that. And I can also tell you by experience, because in one of my businesses I do have a manager. That's a cool story. So this manager was on my model was structured similar like Via, but they was working hours, and the working hours was because that was the only hours that we can actually make money in my business. This was the prime hour. So my manager there reported me to the government, to the IRS, and to the bunch of other people, and he actually started suing me based on that paragraph alone. And I had to deal with somebody from the government, from the federal government, and they suggested I give him some money. And I said to myself, wait a minute, that's not a bad idea to pay the guy for what he wants. So I pay him the money, and everything was good. And the government was okay with that, and everything was okay with that. But I learned a great lesson. Now driving as a VIA driver, I get to say that this gimmick with the hours and the bonuses and all this stuff, there is some fishy things about this. But I greatly respect VIA. They are like super clever guys. I actually admire these people, how they do it. How they do it. How Uber with $95 billion cannot do it, and VIA can do it. So my video, I hope it's informative for you. If you are a driver, you may have this kind of tickets. You may have this ways around these tickets. And let me know what's your opinion on that. If you like these talks, subscribe to the channel. And that was my 17 minutes, blah, blah, blah. But there is a lot of hidden gems, of bits of information that you might use it for the future, for your bright future. Be your own boss. Drive the hours you want. Makes thousands of dollars per day. And we're going to give you, on the top of that, we're going to give you $2,000 in bonuses. And your body that you will refer to our company, and we're going to give you $25 from the Lyft company, and he will make $1,800 guaranteed. Because he's his own boss. That's it. Subscribe. If you don't like this video, put the thumbs up. Okay?